What jersey you wore today?
Jameis.
Hey, he didn't play bad, man. That first fumble, yeah, that was his fault, but it was a
I
really
agree on.
difficult. It was a
I
really
got my three
difficult
on.
play, but with that second one, that was Bobo's fault.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go
Bobo didn't
ahead.
grip the
I'm gonna go
ball.
ahead and kick it off and wait on somebody to get in here because right now ain't nobody in here. But
Wait,
I'm gonna go
wait,
ahead and
you already posted the link.
yeah.
All right, let me.
I'm about to text again. I'm about to text it right now.
You ain't gotta text me. I get it off
Oh, you can
the
put it
promo
on.
page.
Oh, we got
Yeah, I just
a
get off the
viewer.
promo page.
So, welcome to the All Things Bucs podcast. I am your co-host Cory Hayes. You can follow me on Twitter at Cory_Hayes407.
And it's your co-host CJ. You can follow me on Twitter at CoryJ863.
And of course, we're doing this podcast Sunday, almost evening, an hour after the Buccaneers and the Cowboys game ended. Buccaneers lost, unfortunately, once again, 27-20. And I wasn't in attendance. I was not in attendance for this game. So you cannot say I am a curse. I was not there. The win-loss record with me still stands at 0-12, but I was not there at this game. So you cannot blame me for this loss.
Unfortunately, we cannot blame you for this loss. This loss is on the team. This is loss on the team, the coaching staff, the organization. This loss goes to the Buccaneers. That's who deserves this loss. They got the L going up to Dallas, and it was looking just like how our season has looked. You saw bright spots. You saw a glimpse of great play. You saw a lot of shooting in the foot. You saw a lot of the turnover, lost the turnover battle. And we saw a coach who knew his quarterback was struggling with the play clock for some reason and still didn't call a timeout. And his reasoning for it was, oh, I had a
Yeah,
pass
his
play
his
called
his
anyway.
reasoning was I'm gonna call a pass play from the 1 yard line anyway. Dirk, what the hell? You're gonna call a pass play from the 1 yard line, and you're gonna get moved back 5 yards to the 6 yard line. You said, "Oh, I thought my quarterback saw the clock." Well, apparently
Right?
the clock is not good enough in Jerry World, as our quarterback had a few times where it was going to be a delay a game call. We got bailed out one time. We got bailed out where they called delay a game on the defense because they pointed their finger at us when we were trying to stir up the pot and do a motion play on the 4th and inches where Jameis was going to run that QB sneak, and he got the
Mm-hmm.
first down anyways. They called delay a game on them, luckily, or else it would have been another delay a game penalty on us.
Right.
And with that, we can go ahead and talk right about this game from the get-go. The Buccaneers started the game with a great kickoff return from Bobo Wilson. Bobo Wilson got us to the 35-yard line to start the game. Our offense was going down the field. We were driving. Looked like we were going to score a touchdown on the opening drive because normally we will score a touchdown on the opening drive. And once again, our favorite five guys in the front
Shoot yourself in the foot.
shoot themselves in the foot. Correct. They did shoot themselves in the foot, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Once again, with this offensive line, shooting themselves right in the foot.
And they look good too, man. They was out there. James was doing the check down plays because that's what the defense was allowing. Boom, short pass. Boom, short pass. I was a little worried because they were not running the ball as much. But the short passing game was there to be taken all game. They took what the defense gave. Jameis passing took what the defense gave him this game. You cannot be upset at Jameis. There was a couple throws that were off a little bit, but when you got pressure in your face all game, it's going to give you some erratic throws. Like the boy barely had time to breathe back there. And on some of the plays where he extended a play, the play where he fumbled, it itself was he didn't see him. He was expecting his left tackle to hold ground for a little bit. That's the
Mm-hmm.
right defensive end that came all the way around to make that
All
play.
the way around to sack him, strip sack him.
Right. So just going back to that first drive, that holding penalty really killed all the momentum on that drive, and then we had to settle for three.
Yep, we settled for three, and from there it just looked like we weren't going to score at all. It looked like our offense was, of course, going conservative once again. The Cowboys were giving us, like you said, they were giving us the little check downs. They were giving us across the middle. We went deep to Mike Evans, of course, on that first drive. Amazing pass. Once again, Jameis Winston to Mike Evans deep. But Jameis Winston can't throw a deep ball. CJ, he can't throw a deep ball.
Nah, he can't, man. So I don't know how that deep pass to Mike Evans happened because it must have been a miracle, man.
Yeah, a miracle that happens almost every week to Mike Evans deep.
Yeah, but it was there because they played a lot of man. They played a lot of zone, but they played one-on-one coverage and
Yeah, they pulled the
opportunities and
safeties
spots.
up on the line. They pulled the safeties up on the line, which left Mike Evans one-on-one deep. And we tried to hit him a bunch deep. There was a few times where I felt that Mike Evans could have done more. Like in the fourth quarter, we threw to Mike Evans on another deep ball that could have been a completion, but the defender tugged on his jersey and held him back.
I
And
thought the refs
the
was trying to
referees
do
did
Stevie
not
Wonder.
call that at all. The
I
referees did
thought
not
they
call
they
it at
turned
all.
they turned the cheek on a couple plays that would have been against Dallas that would have actually really hurt them, but they just let it slide. I thought they evened out the penalties after the second, about
Mm-hmm.
midway to the third quarter. They started evening out on the penalty, but it was literally lopsided, especially in that first quarter.
The numbers won't do justice for the officiating in this game because it looks like it was even calls, even amount of penalties. But like you said, it started picking up. I think it picked up, honestly, on our last drive of the first half where we got those two penalties on that drive, which led to the Rodgers touchdown. We had the two penalties. We had defenseless receiver Humphreys, and then we had the roughing the passer on Jameis Winston where they took him down.
Right, and I think actually I would actually disagree with that call on the field. That wasn't a. I don't think it was. I think it was just a really hard hit. That Hunt
The
received. But I'll
replay
take
that they
penalty.
showed, the replay that they showed, Xavier Woods did hit Adam Humphreys in his helmet with his helmet. So live ball, it did not look like a penalty. But when they showed the replay, Xavier Woods did lower his helmet into Adam Humphreys' helmet.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see the slow mo replay. It didn't look. It didn't look like a
Because, like you said, it just looked like a
intentional
hard
vicious
nosed.
hit. It
It
just
looked
looked
like
like
a
a
hard
hard
nosed
hit. He came
football
across the
play.
middle. You come across the middle full speed. Hits like that happen. So,
Yeah, that's
but
like you
on and
said.
then even so too, going back to that first drive, that was definitely pass interference on the linebacker on the third and long play. He was
Mm-hmm.
there hella early,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing called there. So, it was like an uphill battle. I thought for the most part they kept their composure, for this game. So it was just they had their opportunities to make some plays, and they didn't do it.
Well, the defense made plays. The defense made a lot of plays in this game, and the offense just did not capitalize on what the defense was doing
Yep.
because our defense almost had a forced fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton Davis went in there and forced a fumble, which could have been recovered by Nassib, but it rolled underneath Nassib into their tight end's hands, or
Yeah,
else
we got.
that would have gave us short field, and we
Yeah,
probably would have scored a touchdown on that drive, unless our favorite person would have got a penalty. Because it seems like every time we get down in that zone, he gets a penalty. So
I better not even see him in a Bucs uniform next year, man.
I saw Alex Kappa play the remaining of the game in the second half, which is something that we've been calling for a long time. So hopefully, come next Sunday against the Falcons, Alex Kappa is the Buccaneer starter.
Might as well. Like, it's the end of the year. You're not going to the playoffs. See what these young guys can do, um, going into the offseason. Like, put Alex Cap in. He can't do no worse than
Put
Caleb
Ryan
Turner.
Smith in the damn game.
Put
Brent
right.
Grimes is
Oh,
buns. Oh, Brent
oh
Grimes
man,
is buns. He gave up that deep ball in the first quarter, and then he
and a
gave up that
touchdown
touchdown. He gave up that touchdown
and
in
a
the
big
fourth.
run. It looked like
It was
he. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're right there to make the tackle. Maybe a 2 yard gain. 2 yard gains turn to 10 yard gain because he doesn't want to stick his nose in there to make
he
a
got
play.
stiff arm. He got stiff arm big time.
Yeah,
What's
it's
up,
just
Kev? I see you. How you doing, brother? I see you, Marlon. Yeah, he has. He definitely has gotten better with playing time. Marlon's talking about Vita Vea. We spoke on Vita Vea yesterday on the preview podcast
The
and said that
muscles,
he
man.
was going to
I don't
have.
have muscles, but Villa Vea got muscles.
Oh, he was a powerhouse, and he just continued to be a powerhouse in this game. Should have had 2 sacks. The referees called a face mask on him,
BS call because it was
which
incidental.
resulted in a touchdown for the Cowboys on their first drive. But
Yep.
we should have had 2 sacks for our big boy in the middle. He is once again coming on strong at the end of the year. I was very impressed with the way that he played. Marlon says Grimes needs to be left in Dallas. Yes, please
Tell him to
leave him
walk
in
home.
Dallas. Yeah, please leave him in Dallas and
Walk home.
don't let him suit up next week. Like you said, CJ, it should be the young guys getting to play next week against
Just
the
let the young guys
Falcons.
play. Let the future play right now. Let them get some game experience so they can go into the off season with a little momentum. Going back to Vita Vea, that boy strong. That boy strong. Oh,
That
we
boy
talked about this on the
potentially
on the
he,
the
he
preview pod. The man we literally talked about. He's already got it down where he's getting pushed on anybody who lines up against him.
his pass rush. That's what we talked about.
His
His pass
pass rush
rush.
is starting to come along. He's out there making plays in the passing game. And once he really gets it, once he gets a signature move, like Sheldon, going back to the
Once
New
he gets
Orleans game.
a full NFL offseason, because it's normally rookies coming to the league without a full NFL offseason, they're a little rusty.
Mm-hmm.
I think that once he comes in with a full offseason with hopefully a permanent defensive coordinator and a healthy training camp, he's going to be something to watch in year 2 of his NFL career.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Just like go back to the New Orleans game, Sheldon Rankins, their defense tackle they picked a couple years ago. This man
Mm-hmm.
has developed a signature spin move that looks like he'd be putting people in the wash cycle and making plays with it. So I'm expecting Via Veda to develop some type of
I'm
move. I
thinking
like his
Vita
club
Vea's
move.
signature right now is doing stunts with Gerald McCoy, because it seems every time he does a stunt with Gerald McCoy, it
Right.
results in pressure from one of them. So I'm thinking right now that
Mm-hmm.
is his signature, is a stunt with McCoy.
Nice stunt move, nice club move from him, man. Using that strength to get the offensive lineman off balance, and he has a little burst. So with that
Kevin said
burst,
that Vita Vea is like the old Ravens defensive tackle who's in Detroit now. Haloti Nada is who he's talking about.
yeah,
Haloti Nada is a powerhouse, and I'd have to agree. I think that Vita, though, has a higher ceiling than Haloti Nada ever had. So we'll just see what he continues to do throughout the rest of the year, which is only one game. But we'll see. We'll see what he does next week against Atlanta.
right. So it won't be no warm up period coming off injury next season. He'll be ready, locked and loaded, ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to the work he's gonna put in the off season and coming into next season with high expectations because he's already showing that he's getting better and better each and every week.
Yeah, I feel like the college conditioning was a little premature for him compared to the NFL conditioning, and that's why he had the calf injury in the preseason and training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, with a full NFL offseason, which starts in March, they get that little time off from January to March before they start, OTAs, before the draft, and then they get back into OTAs. It's like he'll have a full offseason to get right with our training staff, and then we're going to see a monster in year 2. We're going to see
Oh
an
yeah,
absolute monster.
for sure. Overall, outside the D line, I thought they did a decent job. I thought they could have got to Dak a little bit more, but they did a fairly great job on him. The linebackers, I thought they played well. Dropped interception. Who was that? Was it Taylor?
A Darius Taylor
Yeah,
would have had
dropped
a
the
pick
interception.
6.
That he should have. He definitely should have missed opportunities. That was the thing. They had opportunities that we gave them. They had the
And they
fumble
took
recovery
advantage. They
for a
fumble recovery
touchdown.
that they took to the touchdown, and then they had another fumble on that
Right.
handoff. Like you said, Bobo Wilson said it was his fault, which I agree with because the ball
Oh,
was
we
there
know it
for
was
him
his
to
fault.
grab. The ball was there for him to grab, and of course, people say, "Oh, that was Jameis's fault. Jameis
Oh,
fumbled that."
it's always Jameis' fault, man. Oh, Jameis throwing bad passes. Oh, Jameis fumbled the ball. Like, look here, man. Look,
I believe I saw Jameis threw the ball 45 times in this game. You and I both said that with
you
our
can't win
quarterback
football
throwing
games that way.
40 to 50 times a game, you're not going to win.
You can't win football games that way. That's not how December football works. And
I
and
said
again,
I
the
said that he was going
coaching
to throw an
staff.
interception. I said he was going to throw an interception, but it ended up being a fumble that
He's
he
been
had.
doing a really good job protecting the football, throwing it.
Mm-hmm.
The fumble, the first fumble, that was just unfortunate. He did not see the defensive end coming, especially the right defensive end coming all the way looping around. That was just a great
Five
play and
seconds.
effort on his
I
part.
think Jameis was ready to pull it down and run, but he didn't have the time even with 5 seconds because Donovan Smith, as usual, quit on the play after 2 seconds.
Well, he didn't even quit. He got whooped on that play.
He
Like he
got he
got
got he
beat
got
on that play.
manhandled and then he quit. He quit. He
Yeah,
just stood
so
there. He could
I
have
mean,
attempted
I
to
don't
help
think
and
after
he just
after
stood
he
there.
got beat because the way Jameis stepped up in the pocket, he stepped up to evade those two defenders, and Gregory just
Mm-hmm.
came around. So there was nothing Donovan could really do at that point. But if he would have held his ground on the initial start of the play, it would have been a better opportunity for Jameis to get the ball off or to scramble and try and get the first down. But because his initial lack of blocking on that play, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen, unfortunately. And like you said, it resulted in a fumble recovery for a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown. And that sort of changed the momentum for the game because the Bucs were once again on the Cowboys side of the field looking like they were going to score once again. And that happened. And then
Exactly.
we pretty much handed them 2 touchdowns. We handed them 2 touchdowns, which pretty much was the difference in the game because their
No,
offense
it
did
was the difference in the game.
their offense did jack shit. 232 total yards. Our defense stepped up huge against this offense, and yet they get let down once again by our offense.
Exactly. Bad game management. There was a couple times Jameis, I don't know what was going on through his head. I don't know if there actually was a malfunction with the play clock, but a couple times with those delay of games and the penalties, it really killed their own momentum. Dirk Carter should have definitely, after the first time it almost happened, we got bailed out. He should have been like, okay, let me pay attention as the head coach because I'm the overseer of
What
the
I heard
managing the
was that
game.
in Jerry's world, you can't see the play clock as a quarterback. That's what I heard.
Well, I mean, it's really no excuse, but especially for Dirk Cutter, after seeing that it has happened once, he should have been ready right by the referee to call a timeout because we needed a score there. We needed 6 points there.
Absolutely, but like we said earlier in this, Dirk Cutter said that he wasn't going to call a timeout
You're right.
because
You're right. You're
he was
right.
gonna call a pass. Like,
You're
what the
right.
hell, Dirk? What the hell's wrong with
I
you,
was gonna call
dog?
a pass anyway, so 5 yards not gonna make a difference, baby. I'm gonna just pass the football. James threw for 45 times this game. He should have threw for 50 because I'm a pass the football, Coach Cutter. That's who I am, Coach
And
Cutter passing.
we had that nice run by Peyton Barber for about 40 yards that got erased. It seems like every time Peyton Barber runs the ball and gets a big gain, we get it erased by penalties.
Throw the laundry. Throw the laundry. That and it happens. Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Far too often.
Everybody on the offensive line except for Ali Marpet gets penalized at least once a game.
That's true. You're absolutely right. Actually, it wasn't offensive
Kevin
lineman
said
on that
that
play.
Donovan.
It was the
It
tight
was
end.
Auclair. It was Anthony Auclair, the fellow Canadian for Kellen. But yeah, he's our best tight end blocker too. That's why they use him. That's why they kept him on the roster because he's an amazing blocker.
Exactly.
It just seemed like their defensive lineman got the leverage on him right there that resulted in
He had his arm kind of wrapped around the guy's arm, and they called the holding there for it.
Yeah. Kevin said that Donovan Smith got worked once again in this game, which we've already agreed on. He said they should move him over to
Sure.
right. They should move him over to right tackle, which I agree because I believe Dotson is retiring after this season. I think Donovan Smith needs to go back to his natural position, and the Buccaneers need to look long and hard in free agency, or they need to draft a left tackle to step up and step in to help Jameis Winston out.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree, man. That offered out a position where we thought would be the strength of the team turned out to be the weak point of the offense. I can't believe how downhill that unit has went as the season progressed. Like that's a sign of bad
People
coaching.
have said that, when Jameis Winston got in Ryan Jensen's face, that was the downfall of the offensive line. I don't believe that.
Oh, not at all.
It's been downhill since the first not been blocking. Since the Steelers game, the offensive line has gone. Marlon said that Peyton Barber should be the most frustrated player on the field, which I agree with because Peyton Barber busts his ass
Oh, for
every
sure.
single week to get fucking yards, and it results in nothing because, like we said, it's normally a penalty when he gets big yardage. And when they expect him to run, he does run, like down on the goal line that we were in there in the fourth quarter. He ran the ball on that 2nd and 1, and he got stuffed because our offensive lineman got pushed back into him once again. So it's like he should be the most frustrated, and fans like to take it out on him, but it's not Peyton Barber's fault at all.
No, no, not at all, man. It's the play caller. At the end of the day, ball should have been more in his hands, running on the ground, and it just wasn't there. 45 pass attempts again today. You can't win football games that way. We
Kevin
can't do
says
it.
it's all Warhop's fault, which I'll agree with. Warhop is absolutely trash. He's terrible. When the season ends, Warhop needs to pack his bags and get out of Tampa so we can start fresh with a new
The
set
whole
of
offensive
coaches.
staff gotta go. And
I
the only staff that needs to stay that has a chance of staying is Duffner because he's changed this whole
Hey,
defense around from going last in the league.
I'll say that Buckner can stay too.
I would say defensive staff, defense, not totally flip the switch, but offense gotta go. Monken, he can go too because he don't run the ball either.
Well,
So if we get down to
Monken's
December,
not the one calling plays anymore. I think that's obvious with the way that we're calling plays right now. Monken is not our play
it's
caller.
right. It's obvious there too, but at the same time, I wouldn't even believe in that system because I haven't seen from him that he knows how to commit to running the football.
Yeah, true. Our
I
offense
wouldn't
this
even
year
believe in it.
has been very pass heavy. That's why they're the number one ranked pass offense in the
Very.
league.
It is that's what they do. Pass the football, man. And at the end of the day, as exciting as passing the football is, it's not gonna win you football games, man. It's just gonna pad your stats. Winning football
Yep.
games is going to require you to play decent defense, which the defense did, but you're gonna have to control
They've
the
been
clock and run the
playing
ball.
decent defense since Duffner took over, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like if Duffner was our coordinator the whole year, this is a totally different team. Totally different team.
Yeah, those games, man, 1, 2, 3 game difference, it makes a big difference.
Look
Especially
at it
not
right
down
now.
the stretch.
The Eagles are with 8 wins. The Vikings are with 8 wins. The Bucs should be with 8 wins right now at least,
We really
and we'd be
should.
right in the running. But nah, we're back in the back of the pack again because Dirk Cutter
Mm-hmm.
kept Mike Smith.
Yeah, it's sad news that we always come back
Kevin
into
said
this.
we're first overall in passing and 28th in running, which makes us third overall offense.
Yeah, and you see how it gets skewed towards third overall offense, but that running game is boo boo. So,
And you notice how your guy Ronald Jones didn't get in the game today?
oh, of course he didn't get into the game. He's in the doghouse with Dirk Cutter. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if he's gonna make the team next year. I would like to see a little bit more experience for him in the game, but at this point, is it him? Is it Dirk Cutter? I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like he got a real fair opportunity rushing the football this season with the offensive line play and the play calling for him to get carries. But that's just me. I definitely keep him around another year or two to see what he's going to do with a better staff that's actually going to commit to running the football. But
Mm-hmm.
if he's as bad as it Carter making it seems he's that bad, then he won't make the team next year.
Yeah, Kevin just brought it up in the comments. He said that we're last in the NFC South once again. Well, if we beat Atlanta next week and the Panthers lose, we're in a three-way tie for last. So that won't be as bad. But I saw on Twitter that 6 of our last 7 seasons have been losing seasons, which is absolutely unacceptable for an organization in the professional sports league.
And also a tweet from Joe Bucks fan. They said the Glazers came out of there steaming,
Yeah,
and I
The
would hope
Glazers were
so.
not happy, and
I
that was
hope
like 5 minutes after the game. The Glazers weren't
they
happy.
might as well fire Dirk Cutter right there in the staff. Just tell them to get their bags and pack them, man. Because at the end of the day,
All of the analysts have said that there will be at least one coach fired this week. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Dirk Cutter.
might as well. Hey, we can go to the stadium and celebrate for the last game of the season. If they did that, they might as well just go and give us something to celebrate for. Give us a reason
You
to
said
celebrate.
you ain't gonna be able to go to the stadium, so you won't be there.
I'll be there in spirit, Corey, in spirit. Okay.
I'll. Yeah, Marlon said that the problem with the offense is probably because the offensive line doesn't know the difference between pass blocking and run blocking.
Yeah, it's just bad all the way around, man. Hopefully whoever comes in here, because first of all, what is it, Ian Rappaport, whoever that was on NFL Network talking about, oh, the Bucs might retain Carter. No, no, no. You do not
Yes, that
keep
was
doing
Ian
the same
Rappaport.
thing. The only way that would make sense, the only logic behind that is because Jameis only has that one more year with the fifth year option, and you just have him go down with the ship. Because if you bring a new coach in, the new coach is going to have to deal with the Jameis Winston situation, where I feel like Jameis with a better system will be okay. But you're going to have to bring the new coach in. He's either going to have to decide after next year what he's going to do moving forward with the offense and with the franchise. Is Jameis going to be his guy, or are we drafting a new guy to bring in and go in a new direction for this team? So that will be a
Mm-hmm.
big thing as well with the new coach coming in. So that's the only way I can see that being a possibility. But I feel like Cutter has been so bad managing the game, managing this team, that he has to go. He just gotta
He's
go.
been the worst with it. I mentioned it on Twitter. I said I don't mind retaining Cuther if he does two things. One, he gets rid of his whole staff, and two, he stops playing so fucking conservative because Dirk
Nope.
Cutter plays too
He
fucking
is who we
conservative.
thought he was. He is who we thought he was. He's the same man this whole season. We thought he leveled up coming into this season. Okay, Cutter has learned from his mistakes. He not talk with his little crew that he learned how to manage games better. We gonna run the ball better because we got the offensive line. We got Jensen. We gonna be physical. Lies, lies. He came in and did the same thing. And so by him doing the same thing, he showed his hand. He showed his true colors. The Glazers need to go ahead and fire his ass. Period.
I, I'll take a firing. I mean, we need to start over anyways. Fire Dirk Cutter, retain Jason Light, and then start over with a whole new staff and see what we can get out of it.
Exactly.
Because, like I mentioned, 6 out of the last 7 losing seasons. Our only winning season came in 2016, which was Dirk Cutter's first year as head coach.
Yep.
So we just got to do something different. Seems like our culture is accustomed to losing, and I just hate to see that for young guys that are just wasting their career in the NFL because of
And I don't want
coaching.
to see it next year. I don't want to see the same story because we retain him. I'm going on record. It'll be the same story next year. I have
We won't
no,
we won't have anybody in the stadium next year.
pretty much. I won't be there because I already know what's going to happen. I can see the future. We keep Dirk Coach Cutter as the head coach. That's exactly what's going to happen. The same thing. Oh, we came out first game looking like contenders. Oh, then middle of the season, why are we dropping these games? Why we can't find a kicker? Why we can't manage games better? Oh, now we're going on a nice rally. We not put 2 games together, 3 out of 4 games, and then in the season we losing because Coach Cutter wants to throw the ball 50 times a game in December. That's
Mm-hmm.
what will happen next season.
Yep, that's exactly what's going
It's
to
it's,
happen.
it's just predictable.
It is predictable, and it's scary that us as fans can see it, but upper management and the rest of the coaching staff cannot see it.
Well, we gonna see if they got the balls to go ahead and fire this man because he got to go.
I mean, the
First of all,
Glazers already fired one coach slash manager this year. They might as well go ahead and make another one.
they got you got to do what you got to do. If I'm the Glazers, you got to do what you got to do. Let that man go. Let him go be offensive coordinator for some other team because
Because
Lord
there's
knows
a
he ain't
lot of
gonna be no head
interest for
coach.
him. There's definitely a lot of interest for him as an offensive
And
coordinator.
he will be good with some other team that just need a little bit more juice in their offense, and he will probably have a great rest of his career as an offensive coordinator. But as far as head coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's not his calling.
Nope, he's not a head coach. He's an offensive coordinator. He's an offensive-minded coach, which is the reason why our defense had struggled so much because he put it in the hands of Mike Smith. And Mike Smith pretty much was the same as Lovey. Lovey and Mike were pretty much one and the same. They like to do the same things on defense, and that's why we used to get our ass beat on defense. But now our defense is not getting their ass beat.
Our
Our offense
defensive
is
show
our offense is the reason why we're losing games.
that's crazy because we literally in the beginning of the season, if we just had a little defense, man, if we just had a little defense, we can win some games. Now we get a little defense. Oh man, if our offense could be competent, if they could make if they can score in the red zone, we can win some games. Like we can't go back and forth with that. But it literally that's how it flipped on us coming to this last half of the season,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. But yeah, the defense show they got talent on. We got talent on defense. defensive line coming along. Maybe we get one more draft pick or somebody in free agency because Vinny Curry really didn't work out, so he can go too. Um,
I mean, Vinny
the
Curry has
linebacker
shown
core,
flashes sometimes this year, but he's not
right?
been the free
I
agent
don't think
splash that
10
we thought
million.
he was going to be.
I don't think he's 10 million rough of a splash. And then at the linebacker core, the only starter that we have right now is Levante David.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Quan back next season. So
Kendall
that should
Beckwith.
Kendall
I
Beckwith.
said it. I said it on Twitter earlier. We're gonna have JPP, Gerald McCoy, Vita Vea, Carl Nassib, Quan Alexander, Levante
Mm-hmm.
David, Kendall Beckwith, Carlton Davis, Ryan Smith, VH3, Justin Evans, and Jordan Whitehead for our defense. That's a pretty damn good young core right there.
I like that. We can ride with them boys. Cause them boys, they will at least at the bare minimum be middle of the pack on defense.
If
So
we retain Mark Duffner, then hell yeah, they're gonna be in the middle of the pack
uh,
right there. He's gonna let them play to their
exactly,
strengths.
exactly, and get Grimes off the field because he out there whiffing on
Grimes ain't coming
running
back.
game.
Grimes ain't coming
Oh, of
back.
course not. Of course not. That's why Miko ain't on Twitter right now because she would have
She
been
got
cussed out
suspended
a
from
couple of.
Twitter and she never came back.
That's probably a good idea for her because it would have been nasty on Twitter between her and Bucs
Oh
fans.
yeah, it was definitely going to be nasty. You saw what happened with the Dolphins situation. It would
The
definitely would have been
Dolphin
nasty.
situation, and
It
then
definitely
the
would have been
whole.
nasty with our fans.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But it is what it is. Let's touch on special teams real quick because I gotta go fix me a plate before I get back on this clock.
Yeah,
Uh,
before we touch on special teams, let me bring up something that we talked about on the preview podcast. We talked about
what?
X factors, right? X factors for both teams. The white boys. The white boys, Adam Humphries and Cole Beasley. We
I
spoke on it.
told you.
We
I
spoke
told
on it.
you. I
We
told you. If you
spoke
want to
on
start somebody in your daily, weekly fantasy league, Adam Humphries is your guy. He's gonna get the catches. He's gonna
Adam
make plays.
Humphries and Cole Beasley came up huge for both teams. And
I
your boy
told you,
Mike Evans. Mike Evans got the fantasy points, baby.
man. I'm gonna tell Bucs Nation, man. I'm so sick right now. It probably wouldn't have maybe not have made a difference, but I definitely started Josh Allen over Nick Foles, and Nick Foles balled today. I was like, I'm sick.
Over 450 yards of total
30
offense.
points, man. But my old college roommate who I'm playing, man, he got a team that's a monster team. I can only justify not starting him if he beats me by 18 or more points, which it looks like he's going to do. So it wouldn't matter anyway, but it would have made it close. But we'll see what the final tally is. But man, I left those 30 points, and Josh Allen only got me 11. So that's a 20-point swing right there. But it's tough,
Yeah,
man.
let's
That's what
let's go
happens in
ahead and
fantasy.
talk about special teams since you brought it up. Cairo Santos has pretty much been perfect since he's been a Buccaneer. But it seemed to look like field goal was blocked. Seemed to look like the Cowboys got a tip on it, which made it go a different direction than it was going, and that is why he missed that field goal. But other than that, Cairo Santos has been pretty damn good for the Buccaneers, and I think that the Buccaneers should retain him after this season.
I agree. I definitely agree.
And our punter situation, Brian Anger, when he did punt, he punted him deep because one time he punted from our own 3-yard line and punted them all the way back to their 35, and they still ran the kick back into the 40-yard line of us. But Brian Anger, people talk bad about him because he hasn't really done anything this year. But, I mean, he hasn't punted much. We haven't had the punter on the field much this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Marlon
That's true.
said
So
that they better bring Humphreys back. That's a guarantee. Humphreys is not going
yeah,
anywhere.
Humphreys got to come back. They got to bring. Don't lose good talent, man. Humphreys is reliable as our slot guy, and he does not need to go anywhere.
He's not going anywhere at all. We're going to keep Humphreys because he's part of our core of receivers. We also didn't
Exactly.
touch on Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson had one catch for 25 yards, which was the play that Jameis Winston got hit for the roughing the passer in the second quarter. Deshaun Jackson was targeted 4 times, I believe, and he got his foot injured on that catch. He went out of the game, came back in the game.
He tried to tough it out, man.
Somebody stepped on his foot. Somebody stepped on his foot with their cleat, and as football players, we know that hurts a lot. It's definitely hurt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he tried to tough it out. I mean, I thought I didn't think he there was a lot of issues with him for this game, and he's just trying to make it to the end of the season. That definitely will hurt if you get your heel stepped on. That carry, I thought it was a good play. Unfortunately, he got tripped up because he probably could have scored on
He
that
could have
that
gone
end
the
around.
distance. Yeah, he definitely could have gone the distance if he didn't get ankle tackled.
Yep. He should be the only one getting the end arounds. I know we trying to get both of them
I mean,
catches, but
they said Bobo Wilson and Jameis practiced it in practice this week, and Bobo said that he fucked up, which you could tell on the television broadcast that Bobo Wilson did indeed fuck up that play, and that also swung the momentum in this game.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, turnovers will do it. When you lose by one score, turnovers will be the difference in the game. We
I
lost
said
by
it.
a
I
single
said it in the
score.
preview podcast. If we didn't force a turnover, we were going to lose, and we lost.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I hate that people are out there, especially national people. It was careless turnovers by James. I'm like, that second one wasn't even
You saw
James' fault.
Stephen A. Smith tweeting about it. You saw Skip Bayless tweeting about it.
Yeah, that's what we have to deal with as fans. Like we got it. We got one of the D linemen from the Dallas Cowboys the W in front of James' face. That's taunting right there. That should have been a penalty. James should have slapped him upside his head.
I would have
Uh,
slapped him upside his head if that was me in front of him.
nah. We don't need no more crazy controversial, crazy penalties. But yeah, we got to deal with that as fans, man. Right now, we're just a dysfunctional organization. We need to turn it around. It's going to start with that firing of head coach Cutter. Might have to actually fire Jason Light too, because as I discussed on the previous pod, the new coach probably is going to want his own guy to work with, bringing his talent.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, Jason Light has done great things for the organization. He's had some misses for the organization, but if you want that synergy, the head coach and the GM are going to have to be on the same page. And if that means to ask Jason Light, I'm sorry, Jason Light, you're going to have to get the axe too, because we got to get the organization on the same page.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Two more things before we wrap this thing up. We mentioned Chris Godwin on the preview podcast. Chris Godwin had a bounce back game in this game, like we said he would. He did not drop the ball in this game. He actually had 3 good catches, which resulted in good field position for the Buccaneers. And the second
Yeah.
thing, Troy Aikman said on the broadcast that if he was the Bucs, maybe they could trade for John Gruden again and do it all over again. I said, shut the hell up, Aikman. Please shut the hell up.
Yeah. Actually, shut the hell up forever. Don't talk about RT no more.
Joe Buck, and Troy Aikman are 2 of the most biased people that I've ever seen calling games, and it's not even funny. They both are so biased for the Cowboys, and you can tell it when they're announcing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course, because they Cowboys through and through, and it is what I was hoping we would get this win in Jerry's world, just for bragging rights. But now we got to deal with we them boys this week. We going to the playoffs. Oh my God!
Oh,
And
I've heard it already from my friends that are Cowboys
I can
fans.
and then you know what else? I knew Zeke and Coop were gonna have bad games. I'm like, damn, I can't even save face personally. So it is what it is. We them
I've
boys. We
talked
gotta
to
hit them. We
multiple
them boys.
Cowboys fans that are my friends, and they said, "Yeah, you guys pretty much handed us the game, but we'll take it because we're in the playoffs now." I said, "Well, if you're going to the playoffs and you're going to have a home game for the first game, you better watch out because if offense doesn't learn how to play."
Oh yeah, the playoffs is going to come down to your quarterback having to make a play or two to win the game. That's why I don't believe in the Rams. That's why I don't believe in what's the other team? The other team
Who?
with their quarterback. I actually don't believe in Patrick Mahomes taking the Chiefs to the promised land because he's gonna have to make some plays down the stretch too. He's been making some fantastic plays in the regular season, but once that pressure really hits him in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it happens every
Mm-hmm.
year. It happens unless their defense really steps up. Other than that, if it comes down to their arms, I don't believe in them.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be hard for the Cowboys. Even though they are hosting a playoff game for the first round, it's going to be hard for them to win due to the fact that, in my opinion, Dak is a bottom 7 quarterback in this league. I don't care what anybody says. Dak is a bottom 7 quarterback in this league.
Dallas can make it to the ship. Their defense got to come to play. If their defense can come to play and they can manage, Dak can manage the game, they'll have a great opportunity. But I think there will be opportunities there where it's going to come down to Dak Prescott, and he's not going to come up big for the Dallas Cowboys. That's just my opinion. That's what I think will actually happen to the Dallas Cowboys, and it's tough because I mean it's a lot of good teams it's a lot of good teams. It could go either way in each conference. Like each
You
conference is
don't you
going to
don't
be
know
tough
what's
to get
going
to
to
the Super
happen
Bowl.
this year, like you said. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be tough for teams to battle and try and make it to the Super Bowl. In my opinion, if the Cowboys had James Winston as their quarterback, they would be so much better on offense.
Well, James better stop them turnovers, which he has done, especially with the interceptions. Take away
He's done
defense
it. He's
penalties.
done it somewhat. I'm not going to say that James Winston has done it all the way because we still see it. We see that he makes some mistakes sometimes, but it has been the interceptions that he has cut down on. He's being
He's cut
smart
down
where
on them a lot.
he's being smart where he throws the ball. He's not throwing the ball in the tight windows like he used to. The only issue now is I guess he really needs to know and have that internal clock behind him like somebody's coming for me. Somebody's going to strip the ball out of my hand. So that's his only issue, and he's still working on it. People say, oh, he's a fourth-year quarterback. We shouldn't have a fourth-year quarterback making these mistakes. But any quarterback, if their left tackle gets absolutely bum rushed from the blind side and they just fucking take over, then you're not really going to have an opportunity to hold on to the ball.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. So
And
we'll see.
on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up this recap edition of the All Things Bucs podcast. I am your co-host, Corey Hayes. You can follow me on Twitter again at Corey_Hayes407.
And it's your co-host CJ. Follow me on the Twitter at CoreyJ863.
Go ahead and follow the All Things Bucs page on Twitter at All Things TB Bucs. Go ahead and follow our podcast page on Twitter at ATB Podcast_. And once again, thank you all for your support. We truly appreciate it. And we will be back for the preview edition of the last game of the year for the Falcons. Thank you all. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.